Hello, this is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and I know when I want to keep up with the latest in wrestling news from around the world, I check in with Dead on Dave Productions. He covers a wide variety of wrestling topics, including the career of the hardcore legend. Don't miss it, Dead on Productions. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Dead on Dave. Welcome back to the channel. It's time for your Monday Night Raw review. Copious amounts of notes edition. I returned the Joe Cronin show last night, epically I might add, so there's no need to do the segment-by-segment breakdown, so instead, we'll go over my notes in depth. Are you ready? Let's go! That's right. Cut the music. That's right. So welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining me once again right here on Dead on Dave Productions. As I said, I did return the Joe Cronin show last night. We had a good show, him, Tasevich, and I. Great show. Graham Hull joined in for a while, Dave Rose. It was a good show. A lot of fun. I'm understanding that the video that is up right now is very choppy. Don't know why that is. Hopefully Joe will be able to fix that. Not sure exactly what happened there. But in preparation for my return to the show, I went back to the old school, copious amounts of notes. I have pages of notes that I took, and my wife doesn't have the common courtesy to close the door when she flushes the toilet. Why are you pooping with the door open anyway, you savage?
Because I want to share.
You want to share? You want to share the poop? Thank you.
With the world.
Share the poop with the world. At least close the door, you savage, but it's okay. Anyways, so it was a good show. You better get that steak. It was a good show. Last night we had a lot of fun, but I have all of these notes that I took. Of this copious amounts of notes. So let's get right into it. We're going to talk Monday Night Raw from last night. Let's start now. Figure the best way is just to go through my notes. Have not read them at all. They're in order as how I saw things last night. Now, I know a lot of people have really enjoyed the segment-by-segment breakdown that I've been doing, but I've already watched Raw now, so it's kind of pointless to do that again. So we're going to try it this way. We're going to see how the notes pan out, and we'll take it from there. You ready to go on this journey with me? Let's begin. So the show kicks off in the O2 Arena, and John Cena kicks off the show. London hates John Cena, but it's okay. Cena tries to salvage it by sucking the dick of the London crowd. Wow, did he? I mean, he was going to town. Jenna Jameson would be like, thumbs up, guy, because he was going after it. London deserves a WrestleMania. Oh, I'm not in, you know what? I'm not in disagreement with that. I'd love to see WrestleMania at like Wembley. That would be incredible. But I don't see it happening. So John Cena, with the logistics, have got to be a nightmare. Next thing I note, John Cena with his black eye gave me the idea of Cena's Black Eye is my next fantasy sports name. Whatever fantasy team I do next, probably I guess it would be football. So believe me, Cena's Black Eye will be the name of a fantasy sports team sometime this year. I might even change my baseball team name to it in Dead on Dave Productions, which I lost yesterday, the first game, to Jeff Huffman. He beat me. But I'm beating up on legendary comic Jake Link on the first day. Put up a whole bunch of points on his ES. So that could be Cena's Black Eye by the time the day is through. Right now it's Rizzo's the Shizzo, for those of you who are wondering out there. Back to Raw. It seems like the rumors of turning the crowd's volume down, I think they're true. Based off last night, I feel it was more evident last night than any of the past couple of weeks where people have been saying, well, they're turning the crowd down. Well, it seemed like it last night. And more importantly, it seemed like different speakers on different cameras were open for different reasons. Like, for some reason, you could hear a lot of the crowd, chanting something, but it was kind of muffled because it seemed like most of the arena's speakers were off. Like, anything that was to pick up stuff in the back sections, they weren't on. But the front camera speaker, and there was like a guy right next to it saying, "Let's go, Cena," and all this stuff the whole night. He was so annoying. It seemed like that was picking up everything. Something else I've noticed lately, and I think I've made reference to it here on the show, is I'm hearing a lot of wrestlers chatter. Like, you could hear them calling out spots during matches, which for some will break the fourth wall and it will ruin things for them. Me, I don't mind too much because, I love me some wrestling, and I don't mind getting a peek behind the veil every now and then. So it was just kind of interesting that I didn't hear any spots called out last night, but I think it was because the crowd was so damn loud. And I don't feel that it translated on television. At least it didn't when I was watching it. It did not seem like the crowd was very loud, but I think it was because it was turned down. Now, people who were there last night, because I do have a lot of UK viewers, and at least 4 of them were there and wrote me and told me that crowd was ridiculously loud all night. It was insane. It just did not translate on television. Even the announcing crew brought it up a few times, just how loud the crowd was. So, it's all good. So Cena's doing his opening promo, and he's talking about the United States Open Challenge, and I really feel they missed an opportunity here. Now, Bad News Barrett is not a bad guy to come in and do this, and it was not a terrible choice. However, I'm not thrilled with it because of the fact that I really thought this would be a good opportunity for someone like Finn Balor, who did not appear on the show, and that was disappointing because I thought it would have been a great time for him to make his debut. But, they decided not to. Even Neville would have been a good choice, I think. Bad News Barrett works because him and Cena do seem to work well together, and because they did have a fairly good match. But I was just not happy with the fact that it was Barrett as an initial knee-jerk reaction. I would later, as the match wore on and stuff, I was like, okay, this isn't so bad. But knee-jerk reaction, I was like, Bad News Barrett? But Barrett is climbing. He is not the Wade Barrett from years past. He's becoming quite a player, and I'm really enjoying what he's doing. I'm enjoying his ring work. I'm enjoying him talking. I'm loving Bad News Barrett. I found it interesting. JBL rips Bad News Barrett for sucking up to the crowd. And I wrote in my notes just, wow, because Cena had just got off of his knees blowing this crowd to get this match going, and Bad News Barrett just made reference to the fact that he was in his hometown. And JBL rips him. I was like, what the hell? I can't believe it. Was that Vince feeding into his ear? Cover up the fact that Cena is sucking everyone's dick. Cover it up. Bury Barrett for doing it. Maybe they'll think it wasn't Cena. But it is what it is. The match was good. I note here, Barrett is a top guy, I feel. I don't think there's any more wondering about the future of Bad News Barrett. He's a top guy. His finisher's over. His catchphrases are getting there over. Everyone loves the Bad News Barrett shtick. He seems like he could work as a heel or face. Personally, I'd rather keep him heel because I think he's hilarious when he's just being real. He doesn't have to, be something that he's not. I'm really enjoying Barrett. I think he's got a hell of a future. And the time is now to start capitalizing on it. He's a dark horse to win not only Money in the Bank, but even possibly the Royal Rumble this year. I think this could be a big year for Bad News Barrett. Him and Cena, back and forth match. They hit a lot of moves. There was some offense, but it wasn't like a long match, and they didn't overextend it. And that was kind of the theme for the entire night. It seemed like they really wanted to pack a lot of promos and a lot of stipulations and building for Extreme Rules because they were like, oh, shit, we forgot to do that the last couple of weeks. We haven't put any storyline furthering for the actual matches at the pay-per-view. So they tried to cram it all in tonight, it seemed. For the match itself, as satisfied with it as I was, I am totally over this springboard stunner move by Cena. Couldn't be more over this move. First time I saw it, I thought it was cool because I thought it was a mistake. I didn't think he meant to do it on Rusev. It looked like it was just an accident. Second time I was like, oh, that's a move, and it's kind of cool. Now, I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, it doesn't look right. He didn't hit it very well on Barrett. There are so many easier, more impactful moves that he could do that look a hell of a lot cooler. And look, I think the fact that it's a stunner at the end of the day, it's still a stunner, kind of takes away from the fact that the stunner is one of the most devastating finishers in the history of our great sport. It is. And Cena, who seems to be able to hit people with a freaking 5-knuckle shuffle and it messes you up. If he hits a springboard version of that, well, then you should basically be dead. With the combination of Cena and a stunner and a springboard stunner should equal death. No one should ever kick out of it. It should be a finishing move. So I don't like the fact that it doesn't have more impact. It's not a finisher. It's kind of like what the super kick is right now. I could see more people doing moves like that, but with the super kick, because it was just primarily Shawn Michaels' finishing maneuver and he had a special way of doing it, when guys like Dolph Ziggler hit it, and even Luke Harper, who I feel it's a little bit different. Chris Tosevich referred to it more as like a Yakuza kick, and I agree with that. It's kind of... It doesn't bother me they don't get finishes with those, because everyone's using a friggin' super kick right now, and that's one of my favorite finishers of all time. It kind of bums me out that everyone's using it, but the fact that it's not a finisher kind of keeps it in the same regard as, okay, Sweet Chin Music is on a field all of its own. But this is a hyped-up version of a stunner done by John Cena. So it should kill a motherfucker. I mean, it should, and it doesn't. So it kind of takes away from it a little bit for me. After the match, Rusev gets involved, and my wife was trying to have sex with tinfoil, it seemed like. My God. I don't even know if it got picked up by the audio, but it was so loud in my ear, I had to have gotten picked it up. So I paused real quick. So where was I? Rusev comes out, and, well, actually, it was Lana that came out, distracted Cena. Rusev comes from behind and hits him with a chain, and for some reason, we're going to get a Russian chain match at Extreme Rules. Yeah, why not? But at the same token, why not a Polish straw match? Or an Italian underwear match? Or, hell, an Indian rope fight. Let's do that. A chain match. Jesus. A chain match in a PG era, I don't know if I'm feeling that. We'll see what happens. Look, the fact is they're trying to get away from blood. However, there's been more blood in the last month than there probably has been in the last 2 or 3 years. In a chain match, you got to figure there's going to be blood. If you hit someone with a chain, they're bleeding. Plain and simple. So I don't know if I like the idea of doing that, but it is what it is. It should be interesting to see what happens in this fight. JBL alludes to Michael Cole's lawsuit after the announcement of that friggin' chain match. And I found it interesting that Michael Cole's lawsuit was finally alluded to, but he didn't really talk much about it. So who knows? That kind of tells me that they're not sure what they're going to do with the angle yet. So if they want to go back to it and Michael Cole they want to get him involved with the storyline, they have the option. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do with Michael Cole, but at least it's, being addressed. After that, Brie and Nikki come out to do commentary for the Divas Championship #1 contender Battle Royal. Brie's not even in the friggin' match. That was terrible. It was terrible that she wasn't even in the match at all. She was announced for it, but she wasn't even in the damn thing, and that pissed me off. Terrible match. Absolutely horribly done. The Divas should definitely be chided for their work. It was just not well executed at all. I was not happy with the performance of most of the Divas. They were just taking each other. They were basically just rolling out of the ring to get eliminations. And that was quite annoying. So it was frustrating as hell to see that happen. And almost basically nothing happening. Paige gets the win. Pleases the crowd. That's fine. So Paige is #1 contender, even though those of us who read wrestling, dirt sheets and stuff know that she's going to film a movie with The Miz. So she's going to be gone for a little while. So how do they explain all of this? Does she just go and have the match and not win. It's a throwaway situation. Hold your horses, not quite yet, because out of nowhere, Naomi turns heel. And at the time, now remember, this is at the time, I was like, this is exactly what I wrote. Naomi turns heel, and she still sucks. I thought the heel turn was stupid. I didn't like the way it was executed. I didn't think it was very believable. She was botching stuff, it felt like to me. During the Battle Royal, she had 2 botched spots. And it just didn't seem like she was doing very, very much to really convince the beatdown of Paige. And then, like, turning to the camera, this feels good, irritated the shit out of me. However, all of that being said, going back and thinking about it and looking at it, and more importantly, digesting the promo that she does later in the night, my God, does it all make so much more sense, and does it all work? It just absolutely worked with me. Naomi did a great job with the promo, stating like, this is bullshit, basically. Why am I not getting my chance? Why was this match even happening? I beat the Divas champion twice in the past couple of weeks, but I don't get any opportunity, so I'm taking it. It's plain and simple. I'm gonna whoop up on anyone that I want to. Too bad Jimmy wasn't there to be baby, please, baby, please. But it was crazy. She was a completely different person. I'm hoping that it's going to work. She has that big smile, and I don't know. It's going to be rough to see her as a heel. After the promo, I'm definitely more confident. And after seeing the promo, when I went back and watched the beatdown, I was more sold of the beatdown. And that explains everything as far as how they're going to kind of write out the situation with Paige, because they did not waste much time in already getting to the fact that Paige could be hurt. They're referring to internal injuries. Oh, the dreaded internal injuries. You never know what that's going to happen. Spitting up blood, Michael must have internal injuries, So she'll probably be written out that way. If that's not her write out story, expect it to happen again on Thursday. And then she'll be definitely written off for a month or whatever. And maybe Naomi will even get the match with Nikki at the pay-per-view at Extreme Rules, and that will set up something between Naomi and Paige. Maybe this is the way to get the Bellas out of the situation as clean as possible. That's a possibility. That could all explain why Brie was not in the match, because maybe there are not any long-term plans to have the Bellas fight each other, because that would be, you would figure, a long-term storyline. If you have Naomi do this heel turn now and replace Paige, then you kind of have heel versus heel at Extreme Rules. Nikki is kind of a heel. I don't know if they want her to retain heel. I get that she is a heel, but she doesn't always say heelish things. Sometimes they do the we're Bellas and we're perfect thing, but other times she just says some real shit. So it's weird with Nikki. And I don't know if she's going to be in the company if they want to keep her heel anyway, especially with the more and more light that's being shown on her and John Cena's relationship. So I don't know. It's quite interesting. Or they could keep the whole thing separate and not even address it, and that works too. But Naomi could win this thing. She can take the belt off of Nikki, and Nikki and Brie can kind of fade out and go have babies and become stars in Hollywood, whatever they want to do, whatever they thought they were going to do 6 years ago when they left or whatever it was and didn't accomplish. Maybe they'll accomplish it this time and allow for some new storylines, which, by the way, I'm not calling for Nikki to step away. I actually like Nikki. I think Nikki has improved tenfold in the past year. I'm really impressed with some of the work that she's done. I like how she's reinvented herself. I think her look is better. Her ring work has gotten better. Her mic work is really, really solid most of the time. So I have no problem if she stays around as champion. At the same time, if they do want to leave, which is something they've been teasing for a while, this is a perfect time to do it, because you can start a whole new storyline in the Divas division with a real simple thing that started last night with Naomi's heel turn. So intrigue in the Divas division, especially with newcomers coming up. A little disappointed there were no big reveals yesterday as far as new people coming up to the company, but it is what it is. Bray Wyatt next with a promo. Hints at a new target yet again. Still no clue who this is going to be. I don't think they know who it's going to be. But he talked about love in this promo. He talked about you've let love into your heart. You've let love into your heart, and I'm going to take that love and squash it and replace it with fear and all this stuff. So who could he be talking about? Who could he be talking about? The success. You got to figure it's going to be Roman Reigns, but he hasn't really let love into his heart. So then you kind of think of the champions. You got to kind of get Bray Wyatt into a situation where he's going to be important and in a title chase. Well, that leaves John Cena and Daniel Bryan, who both have love in their hearts because of, relationships and all of that, and kind of their baby faces. So that makes sense. Who else could it be other than that? I got a tweet from somebody who, Matt, who's a friend of the show. He was saying that he thinks it was going. I probably just messed up his name again. I've done that before. That he thinks it's Triple H. I don't know how that makes sense, but it could be. I mean, I guess that's a stretch. I don't know who else it could be. Who do you want it to be? So that's the question. The first question I posed to you guys tonight: who do you want to see Bray Wyatt target next? What's the next feud, and what's the best course of action to go with Bray Wyatt? I'm sure when it's revealed of who it is, we're all going to be like, oh, that makes sense. So we'll see what happens there. The Ascension. Holy shit, the Ascension are on TV. And they, they're in a match with Lucha Dragons. Now, we've seen this match a lot on NXT, and basically every time we've seen it on NXT was so much better than what we got last night. Now, Sin Cara starts the match off, and he was boring. Sin Cara is the weak link of this team. The match got going when Kalisto got into it. The energy picks up, the crowd picks up. It's a decent little short match, but it just felt like the Lucha Dragons were rushing through moves, man. They were just really going in hyper mode, it seemed like to me. And I felt it translated with a little bit of sloppiness, but it wasn't a bad match. But the thing that bugs me is we've seen such good work between these two teams in NXT. Why not let them have a 7-8 minute match that resembles something that they've done in the past on NXT? I don't know why they have no interest in building the Ascension properly. I don't know who the Ascension pissed off. But with the lack of depth right now in the tag team division, you would figure getting as many teams as strong as possible would be a priority. It just simply hasn't been. And that's kind of upsetting. During the match, though, something funny did happen. Michael Cole with the greatest burn of his career. He says, "Book, I hear that Rosetta Stone works pretty well. You should try the English version." And Booker T started laughing. Obviously, he didn't see that coming. That was a funny line, something you don't see all the time. That was enjoyable to me. It was funny. Michael Cole, who I usually hate, actually said something unbelievably humorous, so that was cool. Next up, I was deeply, deeply, deeply impressed with Roman Reigns' promo. I thought that promo was fantastic last night. F Big Show. F Big Show, because he's terrible, and the crowd really hated him. But, man, it was really great mic work from Roman Reigns. He interacted with the crowd. We had great signs. Hey, sweetie, somebody had a sign in the crowd last night in London. It said, "Spear me, Roman Reigns." A hot chick with a big sign that says, "Spear me, Roman Reigns."
Are you jealous?
Well, yeah, I'd like him to spear me, but I kind of wanted to spear her, But it's funny, like everybody's losing their minds, and it's getting rather sexual with Roman Reigns.
He is sexy.
He is a sexy man. There's no question about that.
And eyes. Real.
I think those are contacts. When those real deep blue ones, yeah, I think they're. But yeah, it doesn't matter. That's like saying, well, she's pretty, but the boobs are fake. I don't give a shit if they're fake boobies.
As long as he shuts up.
No, his promo work was great last night. Yeah, he did a really good job, man. She goes, I don't know if you heard that. She goes, as long as he shuts up. But that wasn't the case last night. He was actually really good, I thought. What do you think of his promo? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Big Show gets "please retire" chants The London crowd was just not having it. Look, the choke slam on the London cab, I kind of like that. I thought at one time it looked like both of them was going to fall off the damn thing, but it worked. He dented the shit out of that cab with Roman Reigns' body, and that was kind of cool. And then to cap it off with the choke slam on the car. I thought it would have been cool to cave in the entire roof with a choke slam, but I guess that wasn't going to happen. So that happened. I thought that was a cool spot. They got to end this storyline. It seems like these two have been going after each other for just far too long. I hope Roman does what he says and retires him. Jesus, retire Big Show. That's what I'd love to see. Look for Reigns to win in huge fashion at Extreme Rules. Next up, Cesaro and RKO. Now, this was an interesting match because two matches were announced, Randy Orton's match and Seth Rollins' match. And if they won their individual matches, they would be able to implement a stipulation for Extreme Rules. So Randy won very quickly by DQ, but Kane comes out and restarts the match and makes it a 2-on-1 handicap match, putting Tyson Kidd into it. The match picked up from there. It wasn't terrible. Tyson Kidd carrying a lot of the action. But there was a lot more rushing in this match, I felt, especially by Tyson Kidd. Randy does get the victory with a nice RKO, but it seemed like it was very premeditated. Like Randy was already in attack mode, attack position, like almost waiting for him with his shoulder already turned to him. Usually it's more out of nowhere and it's more fluid. I felt it wasn't as fluid as it usually is, but that's just me being nitpicky. But it was still a decent match. It wasn't terrible. But no, here's the thing. This is something that just kind of all night, nothing was mind-blowing in the ring except for one thing, and I'll talk about that when we get to it. So after that, backstage segment, Seth Rollins tries to convince Kane to give him an easy out for his victory, for his stipulation, so he can get the stipulation for Extreme Rules. He was supposed to fight Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, but he wants to take on Jamie Noble instead, so Jamie can just do the job, just lay down. Noble says, well, why do I gotta lay down? Have Kane's stupid ass lay down. And Kane then retorts, he wants to shock Jamie Noble's nutsack with a car battery. Yep, that happened. He wants to shock nutsacks with a car battery. That's the Kane I want to see. I like sadistic Kane. Your testicles and a car battery. I love that. I'm really enjoying the weasel that Rollins is becoming. He's becoming a classic weasel champion. Trying to convince Kane to lay down in the backstage, to say, lay down and let me win. I'm loving this. It's all about protecting the authority, protecting the championship. But what's cool is he crosses the line so often that it's not about the authority. It's just about him, that when they want to make the switch, when they want to get him out of the authority, it's going to be so easy to do so. So I'm not sure if that's intentional. I think it is. It seems like it is to me, especially with the continued dissension within the authority. But I really enjoyed that. I thought that was cool, and I'm loving this dickhead, this weasel that he's becoming. He's becoming a classic weasel champion. Adam Rose comes out. Dean Ambrose, they have a match next. Well, because why the hell not, I guess. Quick match, a little bit of offense, dirty deeds, good night. I mean, that was it. That was it. Adam Rose seemed to be getting good chance, but again, because the volume of the crowd was turned down, it was kind of hard to tell if he was really getting over or not. You just don't know. But Dean Ambrose didn't matter. Dean Ambrose is over anywhere in the world, and he won that match pretty easily. You got to figure something's going to happen with Rose at some point. This was another small, quickie little match, and it's unfortunate because Rose is better than that. Adam Rose is a better wrestler and better worker, but hopefully we'll see more out of him in the future because he will go somewhere else. He's better than Drew McIntyre. I think he's got more charisma than Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre is being positioned to be the next big guy within TNA. I don't think it's going to work ultimately, McIntyre in TNA, But a guy like Adam Rose with just way more ability in the ring, I really do believe that. And I think more overall charisma and talking ability, because Adam Rose can speak too, which McIntyre can't do. He could be someone big in another federation, whether it be TNA or even Lucha. I think he'd be a hell of a coup for Lucha. We'll see what happens. Pep talk. Pep talk by Big Show to Kane. And just an aw moment. Oh, just sucked his balls a little bit. Look, Kane, I've been there. I've played both sides, which was hysterical. He goes, I've been on both sides. Yeah, about 75 times, Big Show. You turncoat. The big turncoat. You Benedict fuck. I mean, it's what it is there. But it just, throwaway little backstage thing. And you get the feeling that the job was coming, the lay down job. But I didn't think that they were going to continue to do backstage segments and really place a big emphasis on it. Well, the fact is they did, and that was kind of cool. Next match, Stardust and Fandango. Stardust with a quick, boring win. I mean, it was just nothing. But what was the point of it is the question, right? Well, why have this match anyway? Well, it was so Fandango could roll out of the ring, jump on a table, start talking in his homoerotic voice, which, it's perfectly fine. He's like, I gotta share my dance with all of you. And he breaks up with Rosa and brings back his old theme. I was like, this is retarded. But it was the best moment of the night. The biggest pop, just about the best, to this point, best moment of the night. Fandango getting his back. But here's the thing. It didn't work before. He wasn't really a good guy before. Now it looks like he will be going full face turn. But the Fandangoing did not get him even to the mid card before. So why do they think it would do it again now? Well, hopefully they are going to give him more of a chance, and they're going to give him more opportunity. Oh my God, I'm looking at an amazing steak. I'm going to take a break. Thank you. Thank you for interrupting. I don't remember what I was saying. Fandango? Was it?
Fandango.
That's right. Fandango. He is definitely going to be doing something. I don't know. Look, quick break. Be right back. You won't even know. I don't even have to acknowledge the fact that I'm taking a break, but there's a big, giant chunk of meat in front of me, and I've got to eat it. Because I don't eat meat very much anymore, but I've got to eat this thing. Oh, shit. Yes, I'm mouth-watering. Fandango. That's where I'm at. Don't let me forget. There's no way you can remind me, but don't let me forget. Fandango. Okay, I'm back, and I know that you didn't notice, but that's okay. I'm telling you guys anyway. I just had an amazing steak. I mean, top 3 steak I've ever eaten in my life. My wife has become a chef at a restaurant that 2 years ago she was washing dishes at. I shit you not. Never had culinary training. Can't get her to cook for me. But she just made me a steak that she may or may not have stolen from work. I can neither confirm nor deny those allegations. And it was unbelievable. I mean, who said love is not tangible in food? Holy God, that was good. Anyway, Fandango. He's face again. Why should we care? Because Johnny Curtis is a hell of a wrestler, and I think that hopefully, maybe with the stupid Fandangoing back, maybe he can get a little bit of an extra push. So, is what it is. Stardust gets a victory nobody's going to remember because Fandango is back. He goes through women, though. Jesus. He's been with Layla, Rosa, and Summer. Anyway. Daniel Bryan in a backstage segment, he corners Kane and says, What are you doing, Kane? You're better than this. And Kane's like, Daniel, please go away. And Daniel gives him shit. He's like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. What's the matter with you? And then he tells him, be a man. Don't be a stooge. I like that. That was cool. It was actually good interaction between the two of them because they do have good chemistry together. They always have. So I enjoyed that. That was all the Daniel Bryan we got. We didn't get any other Daniel Bryan tonight, I don't think. And that's always unfortunate, but maybe he got cut open worse than we thought a couple weeks ago. and they're letting him heal up. I have no idea what the logic is of not having him fight on this card, but it seemed like they had a lot of matches. It's not like they didn't have a lot of matches, because they did. It's just they were all rushed. Like I was saying, it was more about the promo and the moving forward of storylines. However, that being said, the promos weren't all that bad, so it's hard to really be negative on what we've seen most of the night. Although nothing was fantastic. Well, one thing is we're getting closer to it. Rollins and Kane up next. Kane came out in full suit, starts taking everything off. I thought it would have been really cool if he would have took off his stuff to have his old Kane outfit underneath. I thought that would have been cool, and then put on the mask and then fight Rollins, but that didn't happen. Kane didn't lay down with any ease. He does end up going to the ground, though, after he choke slams Seth Rollins and then comes to his senses and puts Rollins on top of him. Rollins wins. Kind of lame. Well. Miz versus Mizdow. I'm tired of the glasses coming off in spectacular fashion. London didn't seem to care as much about Mizdow as the Yanks do. But I don't know. It was okay. Summer Rae getting involved is a nice added bonus, especially when she's wearing outfits like she did last night. Because when she wants to, she can really look stunning. It was a short nothing match. Mizdow getting the victory, and then him and Summer celebrating was the best part of it. So, I don't know how much further they can take this storyline before they need a definitive end. A definitive end needs to happen, and it needs to happen really soon. Completely forgot where I was at, but that's okay. Moving on, WWE is definitely watching me, folks. I'm getting a little worried here. I believe I'm being watched. I think they're out to get me. I'm not sure. I did a show on Saturday, the top 5 worst ring names of all time, and I mentioned a name that nobody talks about. G.I. Bro. Well, guess what Michael Cole brought up? G.I. Bro while burning friggin' Booker T. That's insane. Somebody's watching our shows. Somebody's watching that. Somebody's watching Cronin. I'm convinced of it. We are being monitored. And you know what? WWE, if you need somebody to help out, do a little booking. I'm sensible. I'm logical. I'm rational. And I'm a lot of fun. And I don't need to cuss, by the way. I will go from now to the rest of the show without uttering another cuss word. Don't look at me like that. I can do it. I can shut it off. I shut it off in front of kids all the time. And people I don't know. I can go the rest of the show without cussing.
Motherfucker.
See, now that was my wife who's ignorant, not me. Okay? Anyway, I'm being watched. I'm being monitored. Darren Young and the Primetime Players, him and Titus O'Neil on the Jumbotron doing a backstage vignette promo thing. And Darren Young makes a gay reference. He does make a gay reference for the first time on television, I think, where he says, well, as you know, rainbow is my favorite color. I mean, that's an obvious gay reference. It's kind of cool that WWE would allow him if they did. Well, they did because it's a recorded thing. It wasn't a live segment, so that's kind of cool that they're allowing him to make any sort of reference to it. I think you kind of have to at this point. Yeah, you can't run away from it or you're just going to look bad, and the WWE certainly doesn't want that. So that was kind of cool. The rest of the segment was really neat. Titus killed me with, have you ever heard of a Puerto Rican bullfighter? That was great. Making fun of the fact that the Los Matadores makes no sense. Titus O'Neil, I think, can still become a big star. I like the guy a lot. It's kind of funny. The most over tag team right now, besides the champions, are the ones that haven't had a match. The Primetime Players have not wrestled. All their stuff is just backstage promo work. That's it. It's crazy. Ryback is out next to take on Luke Harper. I don't know how I feel about the blue back of Ryback, the blue uniform. But hey, it works, and people seem to dig him. Him and Luke Harper, hard-hitting matchup. Luke with a friggin' nasty Yakuza kick. Disqualification, not a surprise. Dean comes running out after. and he doesn't get his hands on Luke Harper. They still have not made the match official between Harper and Ambrose, which you got to figure is going to be some sort of tables match. But you don't know what it's going to be. You're going to put your opponent through something because Ambrose went through an announce table and a ladder. It doesn't have to be a straight-up tables match because it seems like most of the stipulations that are happening for Extreme Rules are not like standard chairs matches or stuff like that. It's a little more obscure, Russian chain matches and things like that. So we'll see what they decide to do. What is Ryback going to do at Extreme Rules? Probably nothing, but hey, the option's there. Something that probably most people are not even going to remember from last night, but the WWE did something very cool that I think is such a long time in the making. I don't know why they don't do this more often. But they added a short, quick trivia moment to the show. It was late in the third hour. Why has this not happened before? They just said, while we're going to commercial, which one of these legendary wrestlers is related to the legendary Hart Foundation? And it was like Pat Patterson, somebody else, and Piper, and I'm like, Piper, automatically. But it was really cool that the WWE is doing that. I think they need to do it more often. Do it once an hour. It'll help the Twitter stuff. It'll help the WWE app stuff. And more importantly, I think it's a good idea to reference wrestling history to younger crowds. You're already catering to a younger audience most of the time. Why not go the extra mile in trying to educate them to the past of wrestling, even if it's innocuous little trivia questions like who was related to the Hart Foundation? I think that's really, really cool. I enjoyed that. It was actually one of my favorite things of the entire show. Just something that they don't do enough of, and I hope they do more of it. Match of the night, moment of the night, incredible thing next. Ziggler and Neville. Ziggler comes out, cuts a promo saying, open challenge, since Rollins ducked me, who wants to be with the best in the business? And out comes Neville. Huge ovation. Of course, everyone loves him and Neville. Thank God he didn't talk. Well, he could have talked there, because whatever that language he speaks is, they would have understood it in England, I'm sure. Oh, my God. By the way, if you didn't watch Dead on Dave live on Sunday, one of the funniest moments of the entire show is Ed Crowley doing an impersonation of Adrian Neville. I about busted my gut laughing. I thought it was so funny. So Ziggler has a really good match with Neville. He does win the match with a zigzag, but he wins it taking advantage of the youth and inexperience of Neville, and that's what they were doing. That's kind of what they were alluding to, because Neville's paying his dues. However, Neville stole this match. I have never seen a 450 splash off of a barrier before. The fact that you can contort your body in that manner you're talking 3 feet off the ground. I mean, that's 3 feet of distance. That was incredible. I'm sure it's happened before. I'm sure he's done it before, and I'm sure we've seen things similar, but that was awesome. I've seen him do it off the ring apron, I think, but never the barrier, and that was just awesome. So much fun to see. I love what they're doing with Neville. I like the fact that Neville is kind of paying dues and stuff like that, but he's looking so good, and he's going to break out eventually. Now, the only thing that I'm going to caution to WWE here is you don't want him to lose too many matches against too many big stars. You can't only have him beat Curtis Axel. He's got to beat some bigger guys, and he has to be shown as a legitimate threat. He can't just be that talented kid who can't win. We know he's too good. You can't, and this could be WWE's way of saying, don't get too hot on NXT, because there's still a clear divide between them and us. And that, I think, does an injustice to NXT. I don't think it's fair. So I would caution a little bit of warning there. Do not bury the whole idea of NXT, that they can't come up and compete with the big boys. Yes, performing is important, but you got to get wins. And I think a win over Ziggler would not have hurt Ziggler, and it would have been a really good opportunity for Neville. Especially, you could have had Sheamus do what he did after the match and come and attack people. He could have attacked Ziggler at least came out and gave Neville the opportunity to hit the red arrow in his home country and get the win. That would have been good for everybody, and it would have furthered the storyline with Sheamus. However, they did accomplish something with Sheamus after the match. Ziggler and Sheamus, we know, are probably going to be wrestling each other at Extreme Rules. But guess what? Neville's a small guy too, and Sheamus attacked him pretty hardcore as well. He kicked the crap out of him. So now, why not make this a little more interesting and have Neville in the feud? Have Neville in the match. Why not? It's not going to hurt anything by having him in there. They're probably going to have him lose anyway. But he can make that match even more amazing if there's any doubts that Ziggler cannot work with Sheamus or whatever the worry could be. If you want to add a little extra juice, you put Neville in, and believe me, you're going to get a little extra juice out of that. So finally, Seth Rollins comes out and sits in a friggin' lazy boy and decides to discuss the stipulations that will be chosen with Randy Orton face to face. And he says, Randy, come out, I want to talk to you. And he tells Randy that I am taking away your greatest move, your best weapon. I'm taking away the RKO. So he's taking it away, and it's a banned move. Randy cannot use it. Randy does not seem perturbed. In fact, he says, Seth, that's fine. I'm going to take away your greatest strength, your biggest weapon. And it's not your intellect. It's not your ability. It's your connection to the authority. Now, at this point, I thought that he was going to simply ban all authority members from ringside, but no, Randy Orton, being the sadistic man that he is, decided that was not enough. Instead, Randy says that we are going to fight in a steel cage match. We're going to have our tea and crumpets and have a nice old-fashioned cage match at Extreme Rules for your WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And that's how it's going to be, Mr. Seth Rollins. And eventually, a Donnybrook busted out, and Randy had to throw Seth over his lazy boy. And it was very impressive because Seth took the opportunity to sell like nobody's business, going over the lazy boy and basically breaking his neck on the other side, backdropping himself essentially over a lazy boy. Very interesting stuff. Compelling end segment. The only problem was it really wasn't. It was not very compelling. It was rather boring, and it was kind of a down note on how to end a show. You do not want to end your show that way. You want excitement, you want pomp, you want circumstance. But no, the WWE and Seth Rollins gave us a lazy boy. Overall, I feel the show was not bad. I had a lot of fun with the show. For the complete rating, I'm going to toss it back to my friend, Dead on Dave. Thank you, British version of me. I appreciate all of the great things you just did. And that was the best accent in the history of accents. Yeah. Look, the show wasn't terrible. I enjoyed a lot of the things that happened throughout the night as far as promo work. I was disappointed in the wrestling, and at the end of the day, it is a wrestling show, and you have to deliver. So the score is going to reflect that, and I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I feel it was better than last week, and I think I gave it a 6.5 last week, but it was a better show, but the wrestling was so bad. Maybe 6.5. I mean, anywhere from 6 to 6.75, I think, is a fair rating for this show. The promo work was much better. I think the promo work was 8.5. The storyline advancement, the promo work, all that was an 8.5. But the wrestling, aside from Ziggler and Neville, was probably a 3. So really, if you average it, it should be lower than a 6. But it is what it is. It wasn't a bad show. It was a lot of fun at parts. And Neville stealing the show yet again was very cool. The question is, what do you guys think of Raw last night? Did it float your boat, or did your crumpets get all soggy from the tea that you had to dip it in? The tea of WWE. Let me know in the comment section below. I appreciate all the support. I hope you guys watched what you could of the Joe Cronin show. If you didn't watch it live, I don't think it was very choppy live, but the video that's up now is a little choppy. I'm going to talk to Joe, see if he can re-upload it, and maybe it'll be better. I have no idea. Could just be YouTube, and maybe it'll work itself out. But make sure you check out the review. It was a lot of fun. Tasovich and I worked really well together. We had a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to working more with Chris Tasovich, and I love working with Joe. So a lot of fun. Monetize this tonight on the Joe Cronin Show, midnight in the States. Myself, Tommy C, hopefully Jesse, who did not show up last night. Hopefully he's not dead, and he'll be able to do the show. Tasovich and Joe Cronin. We should have an amazing lineup, an amazing show coming at you live tonight. Monetize this. Should be a lot of fun. Also, make sure you check out yesterday, Jeff Huffman and I did our baseball show, our weekly baseball show, Touch 'Em All. Awesome show. Jeff is incredible. Absolutely carried my butt last night or during this show. Absolutely, really did a good job. I wanted to probably do a video about some of the things I watched yesterday in the world of baseball. A lot of good games. Cubs are awesome. I'm really happy with that. So I want to talk a little bit of baseball. So if I do another video, don't be surprised. But I appreciate all the support. Make sure you're checking out Tommy C. Shot from the Point if you need all your hockey fix. The playoffs are right here. They start tomorrow. So I'm sure a lot to cover on In the Crease. I should be there tonight live, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I should be there. And we will go live and talk all kinds of cool things in the world of hockey. So make sure you check that out as well. Grand Slam 87, that's Jeff's channel. Make sure you check his stuff out. He's doing baseball videos almost daily, and they're incredibly well done. So watch all of that. Follow me on Twitter, @ThatOnDaveV. Follow Jeff Huffman on Twitter, @GrandSlam87. Joe Cronin is at Joe Cronin Show. Tommy C is Tommy C Shot from the Point, I believe. So make sure you're tweeting out and talking to all of us and getting involved. If you want to get involved in the channel in other ways, like make memes, you can go ahead and tweet that to me or hit me up on Skype. David Vancura, DavidVancura on Skype. Add me, send me a meme, and I will use it. All right? Thanks a lot, guys. I really appreciate it. Had a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed the show. Hope you enjoyed Raw. Hope you enjoyed this show. We will see you tomorrow right here on Dead on Dave Productions. Like, subscribe, and share. See you next time. Peace.